You know, it wouldn't be right this week if we went without talking about the big fight coming up this weekend. We got Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte across the pond in the UK, and I'm even going to talk about the little guys, Josh Franco and Juan Francisco Estrada. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, family? It's your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst. Hot Boxing Minute back at you with the realness, of course, as only I know how to bring it. It's fight week, y'all. So we're going to talk about the big fight, which one that strangely enough is not getting a lot of publicity out here in the States. It is on Twitter, but they're not really doing a lot of promotion here stateside. Go figure, it's a big fight across the pond between none other than the heavyweight champion, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, and his mandatory challenger, Dillian Whyte. Now, this fight has kind of been in the works for a while. It took Dillian Whyte a few years. Was he the real mandatory challenger? Is he not? After he got knocked out by Povetkin, they sort of reset the clock and said he was the mandatory again after beating Povetkin. It's an odd, unusual, convoluted situation for those of you that were following it. Either way, here we are now. They're projecting 94,000 capacity seating at Wembley Stadium. Poor old Carl Froch is going to have to take that L on that one. Looks like they're going to be outselling Carl Froch when he fought George Groves at Wembley. So I got to love how the UK audiences are always big to support British boxing. So Tyson Fury, we've been seeing him in footage this week, hitting pads with his trainer, Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, Sugar Hill, and he's been doing southpaw on the bags and on the mitt work. We've never actually seen a southpaw version of Tyson Fury. I've seen him break it out in the past in the middle of fights, but not actually going serious with it. So I don't know how serious you can lay a credence to Tyson Fury training and hitting the bags in the southpaw position. That makes everything fascinating. We know Dillian Whyte. He does have a little bit of an amateur pedigree, and he arguably has probably the best resume in the heavyweight division for somebody that has not yet won titles. He's fought everybody in the division. Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua, Alexander Povetkin, so on and so forth. Parker, and we already know what Dillian Whyte's going to do. He's going to come in there, try to use his reach, which is going to be nullified, of course, by Tyson Fury's reach, and, of course, those heavy hands. Now, what Dillian Whyte's going to hope to do is land one of those power left hooks against Tyson Fury and get maybe a Cunningham type of drop, a Deontay Wilder kind of drop. We know that, Tyson Fury doesn't knock out very easily. Now, I'm not sure if Tyson Fury hitting those pads in southpaw is just a deflection. We do know that after the Josh Taylor-Jack Catterall fight, Tyson Fury specifically requested that he not have any officials that are British or from the UK judging on the cards in that fight. Now, that would lead me to believe that Tyson Fury is not exactly planning to fight a knuckle-dragging brawl like he did with Deontay Wilder, because in that fight, he had no intentions of taking it to the cards. The way he was speaking is definitely in that, I'm going to knock this dosser out. Well, he hasn't really been talking like that too much about this fight with Dillian Whyte. He was very specific about the judges not being from the UK, so it sounds like mentally he's preparing himself to go to the cards. So I don't know if we're going to see the same knuckle-dragging, all-out barroom brawl Tyson Fury that we saw when he fought Deontay Wilder. I don't know why the name is escaping me right now. And mind you, they gave us 3 of the most awesome fights in heavyweight boxing in the last 10 years. Especially that last fight. It might not have been the most technical display, but the sheer magnitude of it, the brute violence in that fight, definitely made it a candidate for Fight of the Year. That was one of the most awesome fights ever. So Tyson Fury is fighting this Saturday against Dillian Whyte. And I'm thinking we might see more of the technician Tyson Fury. I'm sure he's not in any eager rush to potentially catch a random check left hook or full-fledged left hook from Dillian Whyte. We do know Dillian Whyte kind of has a bit of a cardio problem. Sometimes towards the later end of the rounds, he runs out of gas and he's going to go looking for that big shot. And against a fighter like Tyson Fury, if you're winded and you're looking just to land that one big punch, it is very, very likely you will not land that big punch. So this weekend, folks, we got Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte in front of 94,000 at Wembley. And I'm going to go out there and say it. I think Tyson Fury is going to win, most likely by a one-sided decision, if not a late stoppage. I really don't see what Dillian Whyte can do in this matter. What do you folks out there think is going to be the result of this fight? In the comment section, y'all. Let's chop this one up. I really want to know. I want y'all to tell me what you think about the outcome of this fight. Let's talk about Daniel Kinahan. So, MTK Global, the management company responsible for guys like Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders, they were behind the careers of Jamel Herring. Supposedly, Jamel Herring is now working with MTK Global. I know that they work with Rick Mirrigan and Jojo Diaz. Those are two other really kind of well-known American entities in the boxing game here. They've done a lot of work in the past with Bob Arum of Top Rank. Now, I can talk about this because I'm out here comfortable on the West Coast, doing my thing in America, talking about boxing. My friends across the pond do not have such liberties to go talking about Daniel Kinahan. So for those of you that don't know, Daniel Kinahan stands accused by the Irish government of being the figurehead or the leader of the Kinahan organized crime group. It's a cartel. They do pretty much everything you expect cartels to do. Murder, embezzlement, bribery, drug running, gun running. They've been responsible for shootouts in Ireland and out there in Spain. They're definitely a violent group with some badass dudes. Well, they run MTK Global, or Daniel Kinahan was the guy that founded MTK Global, which has kind of built itself up to be one of the biggest boxing management companies in the world. Well, recently, the U.S. American Task Force, the federal agencies, got there with the Irish government agencies and issued a $5 million reward for anybody that has information that can disrupt the business or lead to the direct arrest of Daniel Kinahan and his brothers and his capos in his organization. And just today, MTK Global decided it was going to shut down operations, which leads me to believe that we might soon hear something about Probellum going out of business. Probellum has claimed that they have no connections or business ties with Daniel Kinahan, but the word on the street is that Probellum is a money laundering front for Daniel Kinahan. Now, I have no proof of all this. This is just what's going on in the rumor mill. There's also rumors in the rumor mill that that's how Frank Warren got his money for that crazy $41 million bid for the Tyson Fury Dillian Whyte fight. Well, either way, MTK Promotions, as of this morning, released a press statement saying that they're done in the game. So what does that mean for Tyson Fury? I don't know. We're going to see how that all falls apart as the chips land. Either way, still a man prediction for Tyson Fury. One more piece of news I wanted to address. Josh Franco, Juan Francisco Estrada. Actually, I should say Juan Francisco Estrada's name first. All right. Gallo, Juan Francisco Estrada, and Josh Franco are slated to meet up in a fight. Now, Josh Franco recently got that win over Andrew Maloney, and that pretty much made him the WBA mandatory. He won one of the minor belts in that fight. That made him the mandatory challenger to the real WBA champion, in addition to the guy who has the WBC and ring belt, Juan Francisco Estrada. Juan Francisco Estrada is a veteran in the game. You guys, these are one of the super flyweight kings. Juan Francisco Estrada, Chocolatito, the Chicken King, Sisakret Sarungvasai, and Carlos Cuadras are really our generation's four kings. We keep talking about those prospects of lightweight, Tank, Devin, Tio, yada, yada, yada. But we've already had four kings going back and forth this entire time for at least the last 10 years. These four top-rated guys in the super flyweight division have been going back and forth. If I'm not mistaken, it's 118. Actually, 115. I think they're in the 115 division. But all these guys have been going back and forth for years. Juan Francisco Estrada is easily one of the most entertaining fighters of this current generation. Him and Chocolatito have given us two classics. We're hoping for a third one to see them finish up. But either way, Golden Boy Promotions, which is ran by Oscar De La Hoya, put in the minimum bid. Apparently, as I understand it, they were the only organization during the purse bid to put a bid in, the minimum of $130,000. That does not mean that not Maloney, Josh Franco and Juan Francisco Estrada are going to be fighting for $130,000 total. And I think the split is 75-25, if I'm not mistaken, which makes sense. Gallo has a much bigger name than Josh Franco does. But I believe that they're both going to make easily in excess of $300,000-$400,000, something like that. At the very least, I know Gallo's going to. But so it looks like sometime in June or sometime in July, we're going to have a fight between Juan. You see me getting all tongue-tied? Sorry, I'm trying to roll my R's as a non-native Spanish speaker because I'm Filipino. Rolling the R's gets tricky, y'all. All right. So, we had the purse bid that was successful. Golden Boy got the fight. We got Juan Francisco Estrada, the unified WBA, WBC, and ring super flyweight champion, will be defending his belts against Josh Franco. That's Bam Rodriguez's brother from out there in San Antonio. This fight should happen in June or July. Boxing fans, how do you see that fight play out? I want those early predictions, y'all. In the comments section, let's chop this up. I really want y'all's opinion, y'all. Don't let me down. I want to see some educated opinions. Now, don't just tell me Josh Franco because you like Bam Rodriguez. I want to hear you guys explain to me why it is you would pick Juan over Francisco, or if it's the other way around, why would you pick Gallo over Josh Franco? Let me know in the comment sections. You guys know I reply. Anyways, y'all, this has been another Hot Boxing Minute presentation. Thank you for keeping up. If you're here at the end of this video, hit follow if you haven't already done so. Did you not already hit like? Leave a comment, interact with the post, y'all. This is Hot Boxing Minute. Till the next time I see you.